Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gibbs Spotlight. My name is Haley Sandell, and I am a strategic visual communications intern here at the Gibbs College of Architecture. Today, I will be speaking with Ben DeCuyper. Ben is a recent graduate from Gibbs with his bachelor's degree in architecture. Hey Ben,
Hey, how's it going?
not too bad.
Nice.
So, what current projects are you working on or have you recently worked on?
So this past semester, which was, like you said, my final semester of architecture school, we all worked on a urban master plan and then focused on a building that would fit within that master plan. And we were allowed to choose our own programs, and I chose to design a building that acted as both a cancer wellness center and as an urban agriculture center. And it's a unique pairing, but I researched a little bit about not only how agriculture can be helpful in terms of connecting people with nature and increase in helping their overall diet, but also evidence-based design, which was
Gotcha.
really looking at how connecting people with active settings, active views can do things like after a patient is recovering from surgery, they can rely on less painkillers if they're given views of active settings, things
That's
like
really
this.
cool.
Yep,
Yeah. Much better than just being in a stark white room.
exactly.
So, what made you want to work on that specifically?
Well, two things. I actually had a family member who had cancer, so I really wanted to design for people that are going through this experience. Um, a cancer wellness center doesn't offer clinical treatment, but instead gives people the opportunity to interact with other cancer patients, get certain services like emotional support in the form of therapy. Um, and I've actually gotten really interested recently in cities' food systems and
Oh, cool.
trying to create ways for people to be more connected with the production of their food and have more options.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks.
So, off of that, what is a project you've created or worked on at GCA that you're most proud of?
I would say this past year I was able to participate in a competition that our college participated in. It was held in St. Louis. All the teams that were participating were asked to design a center that would um, provide research and education for the well-being of rivers and how architecture can mitigate flooding.
That's
It,
awesome.
yeah, it was the AIA Students Central State Competition. So we were competing with other schools, and I think we did a really good job. It was interesting seeing how ultimately the competition is testing students' ability to come up with a single unified concept, really buy into the concept as a team, and then use their resources in 10 hours to sell that concept. And I think we did a really good job.
Dang. 10 hours.
Yeah, part of that. Yeah, part of that is visiting the site. And I had been to St. Louis before, but I hadn't really spent any time there. And yeah, the whole team was new to the area, so it was cool um, seeing a site, entering a room, leaving with a concept. It's a quick burn and really competitive. So I think it makes it that much
Definitely.
sweeter.
That's really cool. It's a good way to mix it up, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what is your favorite thing about GCA? I know it's a broad question, but
Yeah, I've really appreciated the emphasis that our program is able to put on, well, all the programs, all the colleges are able to put on relationships between the students and the professors, like one-on-one time.
yeah,
Um, I had a lot of desk crits throughout architecture school, and as I got older, I started to realize more and more that that dynamic puts the student in a place where they have to really understand what their goals are, because so much is coming at you as a student,
Yeah.
not only from the professors, but from friends and family and anybody who's giving you advice. So I like to think of it almost as you're kind of curating all these ideas or trying to sift through them. And the project is ultimately, like, it's never really entirely yours, but um, having the professor kind of guide through this process and challenge you at times is invaluable.
Yeah, definitely. And getting critiques, especially one-on-one critiques with professors, that's very important, but that helps with a lot of real-world experience.
Hmm. For sure. Yeah.
So, when and why did you first become interested in architecture?
Yeah. So in high school, uh, it's strange because architecture was the first thing that I considered, and I can't exactly put my finger on why, but I ended up wanting to. I toyed around with many ideas as to what I could study. I, at one point, thought it'd be fun to be a designer at Lego.
Oh,
Uh,
that'd be so cool.
yeah. At one point, I was really heavily considering journalism. Um, but I really noticed that in high school, I enjoyed studying all the different subjects that we were given.
Yeah.
And from what I could tell, architecture was going to be a good way of appeasing many of those interests and being able to engage in many different activities. And I think I was lucky in terms of thinking about architecture that way, because it actually turned out to be more expansive than I even predicted.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, so if at one point you're wanting to study more math and technical information like structures, you can do that. But then the next moment, if you want, you can switch and study something like theory, or you can study architecture in terms of its presence in literature. It's just never really ending.
Yeah, it's such a broad field.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
why Gibbs? Why OU?
So my sister had been at OU, so I made sure to visit the OU College of Architecture and other colleges. Um, and I really liked how when we visited Gibbs, there were other students that, unprompted, they just kind of came over to talk and see how me and my parents were doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was just a very good feeling, um, getting to walk around the building and see everybody at work. And then also learning about the American school shortly thereafter. It was really the tipping point, seeing that the college does have such an amazing history.
Yeah, definitely. The American school is very unique to OU.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, since you just graduated, what are your plans now? Where do you go from here?
It's a good question. So seeing as things are pretty tricky at the moment,
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to continue interning with a
That's
firm that
awesome.
I had established a relationship with when I was in school. Um, I've thought in the past that I would want to go get my master's someday, but I'm becoming more and more. I don't quite know what I'd want to specialize in. Um, so I think for the time being, um, I'm really interested in working and learning more about how firms operate and getting to work more and more towards getting licensed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and interning is a great place to start off.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm I'm seeing that it's probably just a really good opportunity to be able to continue working during this time. And yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, definitely. So, kind of a change of pace. What should prospective students know about your major, and what would help them succeed?
Hmm. Okay. Um, Yeah, well, I guess I'd go back to what I was saying earlier about it being very broad and expansive. Maybe broad's not the right term. A lot of people think that being in architecture just means that you're good at math and that kind of thinking. And I guess that is true to a degree, but I've also thought writing and reading are pretty vital in terms of being able to keep the structure or kind of the narrative of your work um, clean and grounded toward goals that you're kind of keeping close to you, and engaging in that kind of work really helps that process and also helps you present that process because it is just a story at the end of the day.
Yeah.
um, I would say if at any point in a project, if someone feels like they're not really motivated, it's worth taking the extra time to reorient the project toward a goal that does hold your interest, because it's hard to expect other people to be excited about your work if you're having trouble yourself getting excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I come from a studio-based major. Like, relying on your classmates and your professors helps a lot too.
Yeah, for sure. Reacting off of what they're doing. A lot of the time, it's interesting seeing that the projects evolve, not in terms of what the students are doing, but also how the professors see the students reacting to the problems that they've posed or introduced in the course. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, acting off of everyone's advice and everyone's what they're producing is also a big part of the process.
Definitely. Well, sweet. I think that's about all I have for you today.
Okay.
Uh, do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think that's good.
Well, thanks, Ben.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks again for listening to the Gibbs Spotlight. Tune in next time to hear more stories from the Gibbs College of Architecture.